Senna chicane. Wow. Bang! A shower of sparks and rubber. Oh yes. If you're a wine buff, enjoy. Oh, fabulous. I don't sleep while our beds are burning. Wow. Yeah, look at me. Don't ask. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a very, very early start. Yeah, I have my glasses on. I've been checking through my shot list for the day. What a busy day we have in front of us. My first time, would you believe, in South Australia, my first time in Adelaide, and really looking forward to a big day. Let's see where the day takes us, shall we? A very good morning. Cheers, very kind of you.
G'day, Carl. How are you doing?
Yeah, not
Fancy
bad.
seeing you in Adelaide, mate.
Oh, it's good to be here. Who's this in the back as well?
Hello, mate. Hello.
Hello, Mick. How you doing? Mick is the man that's going to make the magic today.
He's going to make you look good.
This
is peak hour traffic in Adelaide. It's 7:30 in the morning.
Look at that sky as well.
Why would you not want to come here for a rally?
Right, well, I'm getting a wee bit of a geography lesson from Stu. So that's the centre of Adelaide. And what is Adelaide? Why is it so famous? Stu, it is the only city that what?
Only city in the world surrounded by parklands.
Surrounded?
Totally surrounded by parklands.
It was very modern thinking. 1836 they designed the city of Adelaide, but it was a city that was designed in 1836 for 21st century living. It is surrounded, and it's the only city in the world that is surrounded by parkland. Look at it. We've come out the bush, miles from anywhere, and oh yeah, that's the city there. Phenomenal. It's a phenomenal place. Well, how cool is this? This is the Senna chicane on the Adelaide Formula 1 circuit, still used for supercar events. But if we came here for the WRC, that's where the service park would be. That's the main straight of the Formula 1 track. Just incredible. What an incredible place. The stages themselves, that's the Adelaide Hills behind there. The stages will be up in the Adelaide Hills. This is 2 minutes from the centre of Adelaide. It is just the most incredible place. The Senna chicane. Wow. This is Adelaide. There we go, cyclists now. So it's not so much Formula 1 cars and race cars, it's lots of cyclists around here, making it very known that they have the right of ways. I love cyclists, really I do. Honestly, sir, I love you. Genuinely. You're saving the planet one push bike at a time. Well done. Well, that sounded cynical, didn't it? I'm very sorry. I genuinely. Cyclists are fine. No problems with them at all. Well, we've had a look at the start-finish straight, but this is possibly the most famous part of the Adelaide circuit. A long straight. Just imagine it. 1986. Who was powering down this straight? Nigel Mansell, heading towards the right-hander, braking hard. The rear tyre, bang! A shower of sparks and rubber. It was the end of Nigel Mansell's hopes of winning the driver's title that year. He only had 19 laps to go. It was Alan Prost who went on to take the title. But this straight, that corner, that puncture, the most iconic puncture in the history of Formula 1. Just look at this. Look at this. Saabs. Beautiful old Saabs. We're in Barry Lowe's workshop. We're at the back. We're in the... Every workshop's got to have a spot like this, hasn't it? Look at all the engines. Incredible engines. But, okay, anyone that was at the Rally Retro Festival at the weekend might have heard me saying I'm not a huge fan of French things. But look at this. Citroen. That's a beautiful Citroen CX. But even more beautiful is this. Goodness me. That is a Citroen DS, and an absolutely gorgeous thing it is too. Barry did his apprenticeship on these cars, so it's just sitting there. That's better than money in the bank, that car sitting there. Can you imagine when this is all back up and running again? Oh, it'll be totally gorgeous. What a place. What a wonderful little place. And there's the rally car. That's what we're going to see in a few weeks' time on the Rally of the Heartlands. 550 horsepower to those rear wheels. An 8-speed semi-automatic gearbox. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Quite incredible. 8-speed gearbox. Comes out of one of those, out of a Jeep Cherokee, with its own ECU, effectively, to help it deal with the 550 horsepower. There we go, Barry Lowe, 2 times Australian Rally Champion in the mid-80s in his Subaru. This will be one to watch on the Rally of the Heartlands in a few weeks' time. I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving this place. Some interesting stuff here, folks. Really interesting stuff, particularly that car there. There's a lot more than that car there, but that's the one that's going to keep me interested for the afternoon. Oh yes! So where are we? Well, we're about an hour north of Adelaide, in the heart of the Barossa Valley. I am quite looking forward to lunch. Yeah, listen, we might be in the middle of the cultural heartland of South Australia, which is the vineyards. But that's where that is where we're having lunch. The Tanunda Bakery and Cafe. A proper Aussie pie. How good is that pie, sir? Tell me.
Bloody brilliant.
Steak and mushroom, sausage roll, cheese and veg. There's all sorts there. Look at that. Mexican pie, meat pie, pasty. And then, oh yes, the ice cream counter. What's that one? Bubble gum, chocolate delight, rum and raisin. Yum, yum, yum. Oh yeah. That's my pie. Look at that, it's been injected with tomato sauce for me already. Now, leave me alone for a minute or two because I'm the messiest eater in the world. Do you know what? This is a little bit, if you're a wine buff, a little bit of a pilgrimage, because this, have a look here, Stu, this is Jacob's Creek. Would you believe it? This is Jacob's Creek. We're in the Barossa Valley. We're about an hour north of Adelaide. And, well, Jacob's Creek, around about 1850 is when they grew the first vines here that created the first vintage. And they've been making magnificent wine in Jacob's Creek. This is Jacob's Creek. I'm not going in there. I reckon that's full of snakes. Stu, a few snakes in there?
I reckon there might be a few snakes.
We're not going in there. But, as I say, bit of a pilgrimage for wine lovers everywhere. The original Jacob's Creek. He will make me look good. That's Mick. That's our wonderful cameraman and creative director, and he's all sorts of things. He really is. There he goes. He's also very, very brave. I would not be heading into there where he's going, because right in amongst that, he's not singing, he's not stamping his feet. I've been told that's what you got to do when you go bush, and that's bushwalking, Mick. Mick, that's bushwalking. Sing a song, do a dance, stamp your feet, keep the copperheads and the eastern brownies away. Anyway, can you read that sign there? You probably can't. It said World's End Highway. I've got a mouthful of flies. My God, it's horrible. It really is. World's End Highway is that way. World's End Creek is that way. The stage on the Rally of the Heartland is also that way. What a place. Look, this is proper Oz, isn't it? Proper Aussie Outback. Wow. Well, we've made it to Burra. Not Burra, Burra. And you need to say it with a proper Australian twang, which I've not perfected yet. This is where the Rally of the Heartland will be based. Looking forward to seeing the town itself. So this is where we're staying tonight. We're in the wonderful little town of Burra, and we've come across to the miners' cottages. There's a name for this place, I can't remember it, but look. It's where the miners used to live. So this was a miner's house, a little miner's cottage back in the day. I bet you had a big old family living in here. It's just fabulous. There's the kitchen. We make our way through into the cottage. What we go through here, that's the bathroom. Really sweet. Look at the floor as well. Proper flagstone, ancient floor. Can you imagine the stories? You know, there'll be some wonderful stories. There'll be some tragic stories. If this little place could talk, it could tell you. That's for sure. Wow, it's a good size, isn't it? You know, back in the day, we're talking nearly 200 years ago, 1850, 1860. This would have been a fairly decent size, luxurious, almost, I guess, little cottage. Right now, it's my humble abode for the night. I am absolutely loving this little place. Do you want me to sing you a song? Yes. How do you sleep when our earth is turning? I think the words are wrong, but I don't care. How do we sleep while our beds are burning? Look at that. Look at that. I'm a child of the 80s, and that is one of the most iconic album covers from the 80s. Midnight Oil, 1987. Have a look. Yeah, we're in a rally car, and yes, that is a P plate. The Heartland Rally. That's where this car's heading to with this young man here, Josh. You're co-driving on the rally, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're a trainee rally driver. You're doing your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And what a car this is. Tell me a little bit about the car before we head off. What is it?
It's the 1981 Datsun Stanza. It's got a SR20 non-turbo in it, so it makes a bit more power than standard, but yeah.
Good stuff. And we need the P plates because he's still learning. Hasn't passed his test yet. Come on then, Josh. Let's head off into the countryside. That is the famous Midnight Oil House. We're leaving that behind, and we're just heading along the back roads, back to the lovely town of Burra. Through the country roads. That's your dad and your uncle in front, is it?
Yeah.
In the Mercedes, what is that Mercedes?
280.
That's a Mercedes 280, there we go. I'll bring it back a little bit, otherwise there we go, look at that, it's beautiful. So what have we got here? What kind of gearbox have we got in this?
It's a 6-speed Nismo gearbox,
right.
Really short shifter, right. Hydraulic handbrake there.
Rightio. So is that sequential?
No, it's a regular H-pattern.
A regular H-pattern. Wow. Fabulous stuff. B plates on a rally car. You know what? I might be 53 years old, but there are always new things I've got to discover, and this is one of them. Hey! No, look at this. What an absolutely fabulous bunch of rally people. Proper Aussie pub, proper Aussie rally people, and we're looking for a bit of proper Aussie scoff. Does it get much better? Does it get much better, sir? I don't think it gets much better. How are you, sir? It's a great place, isn't it? Oh, I am absolutely loving this. Little beer to go with our proper Aussie beer. What is it? That's nice. Hey, Great Britain would love that, wouldn't they? Well, no filter required, folks. That is the sunset here at the end of what has been a quite magnificent day. We're in the beautiful historic old town of Burra. We're having dinner in the pub, and I just thought I'd bring you out to show you this incredible sunset. What a day we've had. What a way to end the day. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Look at me. Not looking at my best, am I? That is what's going to perk me up there. We're in the St. Just Cafe. It's wonderful. It's all just for our little filming episode today. There's co-drivers, there's medics, there's bosses, there's engineers, all sorts. But the most important thing right now is this man behind. That's Ross, the boss of the Just Cafe, St. Just Cafe, making the most marvellous coffee. Breakfast orders have been taken. Once we've eaten, yum. Once we're topped up with coffee, we will be ready to go. Good morning. Look at that car. That's mine for the day anyway. Would you believe? Stuart Bowes, it's his beautiful Mercedes 450 SLC, boys. Is it an SLC? 5-litre SLC Mercedes. And I'm getting to drive it today. Oh my goodness me, what fun we're going to have. Too much fun. Don't ask the things I do for my art. Don't ask, really, don't. Whose car is that? Oh, that's now my car. Well done, Mr. Nelson. Clark and Nelson. That sounds like a legendary pairing to me. It really does. Oh dear. You can tell there are nerves there. There really are nerves. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Take a look at this. We're literally in the middle of nowhere. And this is the kind of countryside that when the settlers came nearly 2 centuries ago, they looked at it and thought, yeah, we can make a living out of this. But my goodness me, they didn't. These are houses here that settlers did try and make a living from. There's film crew there. But beyond that, you can see other buildings. There's a forge there. There's quite a substantial sized property as well. They tried hard, a lot of folk out here, but it's tough. It's a tough environment. It's hot, it's dry. That's the main thing. You can raise cattle, you can raise sheep, but you can only do that if there's water and if there's food for them. And out in these types of environments, that's really difficult, really tough terrain. But for us who are visiting, it's absolutely beautiful. Just incredible. And you know, the issue here was water and the lack of water. You come at a certain time of the cycle and look at that proper barn with a nice roof still on it. You know, the water was the issue, and they actually surveyed the area to work out the line, the Goyer line, I think it's called. And it's a line of more than 10 inches of rain a year, and you know, north of that line, less than 10 inches, it's not sustainable for agriculture. And these houses here were built before they actually established that principle, if you like. That's a forge, so this would have been a blacksmith that lived here. Look at that, there'd been a roaring fire in there, and the chimney drawing the smoke up and creating the draft which fueled that fire. It is just incredible to think how tough it would have been out here. Sheep, yep. Cattle, yep. Crops, absolutely not. Even sheep and cattle, a real struggle. It's just an amazing social history of the settlers and the settler period, the early settler period here in South Australia.